Hey, it's Ryan from upfitsupply.com, and in this video we're going to be installing a Holman partition in our Ford Transit cargo van. Let's get started. Now this is a two-part installation. There's actually two different parts that you need to install a partition in a Ford Transit van. First is going to be your center panels kit, and that's going to be specific to your roof height. And then you're also going to need a wing kit, which is also going to be specific to your roof height. We happen to be installing this in a mid-roof Transit. Installation is going to be pretty similar between the high roof and the low roof. Now in each of those kits, Holman is going to provide you with an assembly guide and an instruction guide. Make sure you reference these for the ultimate source of information. Of course, we're doing our best to follow this as well. So we are going to start by assembling our center panels kit together. It's just really 4 bolts and nuts that you need to use to attach the center panels. Then we're going to attach the wing kit to the partition. Then we're going to take the entire assembled partition into the van and attach it to the vehicle. So make sure you get started with your center panels kit. This is going to be pretty universal products. It's likely going to say high roof or something like that on it, and then your wing kit will say Ford Transit mid roof or high roof or low roof or whatever you may be getting. So let's grab ours out of the box. So our first section here is actually 2 pieces already pre-assembled with a hinge. What Holman does is they bake the hinge right into the product. So if you want to have a center door in your partition, the hinge is already there. All you need to do is purchase a latch and lock kit that basically puts a handle right in this hole right here. Everything's already set up. There's going to be one minor difference in the installation and assembly portion if you're going to be using that center door panel. So we'll talk about that when we get to that. So we need to attach this passenger panel to the other 2, and you're going to do that with the provided hardware. It's just going to be a bolt like this with an integrated washer, and then a lock nut like this. That's all you need to do to attach these in 4 locations. You'll see them where they line up here. Now, if you're going to be doing that center door partition, what you're going to do is go through with your bolt, then take 2 washers and space it in between these 2 panels, and go through that, through these, and then put your lock nut on there. That's basically just going to be a temporary measure because you're going to remove those bolts once it's inside the van to put in your door latch. Now we plan on doing a center door, so we're going to be putting in our 2 washers. Now a little tip here, if you're having trouble getting your washers in between this narrow space, especially when you do the last one, just put some masking tape around them, hold them together, and you can drop them in. These are going to be removed later, so it's not that big of a deal. I have masking tape. Then we'll come through and tighten all these up. Now we're going to attach our side wing. So I'm orienting this so this is face down. So what we're seeing is what we would be seeing if we were looking from the inside of the cargo area inwards. Your hinge is going to be on the back side because the door opens into the cargo area. So this is kind of, we just put it up, slide it in like this. So this is our driver's side wing kit, or wing right here. You can tell there's going to be this little notch in the bottom. There's a little notch right here. And so the part that attaches to the partition is right here. And then your passenger side is just going to be mirrored from this. Now, very similar bolt pattern as to attaching this. I'm just going to use a bolt and a lock nut. Now, all these bolts are going to want to be snug tight, but allow for some movement because we do want to be able to line everything up once it's in the van. Now we're going to attach our top wing in similar orientation. This is what the top looks like. Now if you're going to be using this as a center door, you can put your 2 bolts through here. I'd leave them pretty loose. They don't need to be tight. You're just going to end up removing them later, but it does help to have them there from a stability perspective. Next, we're going to attach our corner panels to the partition and then to the wings. This is how you want to mount it. You want this to tuck underneath the header panel. This goes over top of the side panel. First, we're going to attach it to these partition here. Then we're going to attach right here. Next, we're gonna attach this corner piece to our top wing. Now just one attachment on our corner to our side wing. We're gonna use this one furthest away. Again, just snug on these. We're gonna do the exact same thing over on the driver's side. Next, we need to attach our corner brackets to our corner wings. These are size specific, so you gotta make sure that you're getting each side to the right one. You kind of put them together, you've got these longer holes. Put them together like this. You'll get this little Y shape. The right side's gonna be your passenger, left side's gonna be your driver's side. This is going into this hole that we left open here on the wings. Next, we're gonna attach our sill plate to the bottom. Now, the nice thing about this, it does have 4 pre-threaded locations already in there, so you're just gonna grab some of your bolts, lock washers, and washers, and thread these directly into this bracket. Now, if you have D-rings right here in your B-pillar, there's gonna be one, maybe right here, one similar on the driver's side. You need to remove these. Don't toss them or anything because you're gonna be able to put them back in later, but we do need them moved for the installation. Now, if you do have this handle right here, you're actually gonna have to remove this because this is where this attaches. Now next, we're actually gonna push this partition up against the B-pillars and up against the little brace over the headliner there. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna mark locations where we're gonna put in some plus nuts or wing nuts over here on the driver's side. So I wanna show you what that looks like real quick before we move it up here. If I move this liner out of the way, you can see we have these holes up here. And you can see these larger holes. We actually have a plus nut in there, right, from a previous installation. Same thing down here. And basically, you have 2 options. You can use these provided clip nuts, and these actually are gonna slide into this big hole right here. And this hole is existing, it's not threaded. So you're just gonna put it in here. It's gonna clip on that hole, give you a threaded location. You're gonna attach the wing to that hole right there. Same thing down here, a little bit lower. That's option 1. Option number 2 is to actually put in plus nuts. So you're gonna hold this up against the B pillar. You're going to find locations 2, 4, 6, and 7. Mark your locations. If there's no hole there, put in your plus nuts and attach that way. Now on the passenger side, we already have pre-threaded locations where we can tie into on this side. The driver's side doesn't have that. So we would probably go with the wing or the clip nut on the driver's side just because it's a lot easier. It's just 2 fasteners to attach. But we already have those existing plus nuts in there, so we're gonna use those. Okay, now we're gonna push this against the B pillar. Now on the passenger side, we can see our threaded locations we're going into. We've got one at 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. These are open, not gonna be using those. Now on the passenger side, we're gonna reinstall our grab handle using the factory bolts. And the rest of these mounting locations, we're gonna use the provided hardware. Sometimes if these holes don't exactly line up, you can take like a punch or something and go into one of them and pull over the wing. Again, snug tight, but allow for some movement. There's still some additional holes that we need to get lined up. Now we're gonna attach the top wing to the top of the B pillar using the included self-threading bolts. Then we're gonna attach our corner brackets to our B pillar by rotating these. They make contact right here. Now in our van, there is an existing hole right here. I'm not sure if that's from a previous installation or something like that. This is a used van, but we're gonna go into that existing hole. And we're gonna use our remaining 1-inch self-threading screws to go into the top locations in our side wings right here. And then over on the driver's side, the instructions call for going from 3rd from the bottom. If you're having a hard time going through that with the self-threading screw, you can also use a drill bit and do a little bit smaller hole. finally, if you had D-rings installed, you can put those back in right here. Otherwise, they do give you some bolts to attach to this threaded location right here. On the driver's side, we're just going to use the provided hardware. Now that everything is attached, we are going to go through and tighten all those fasteners that we left snug tight. And that just about does it for the installation of this Holman partition here in our Ford Transit. Now, like I mentioned, the installation is going to vary slightly between the high roof and the low roof models, but it's going to be pretty close. And if you're interested in how to convert this center panel into a door that opens on a hinge, we do have a video that shows you how to put that handle in place and so on, so be sure to check that one out. Now, if you're looking for this partition or any other equipment to get your van or truck ready for work, you can find it at upfitsupply.com.